And the first race up this morning, we saw the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup race, and in this race we will find out who will be joining the Headington School in tomorrow's final.
Go!
As we have a start here with Gloucester Rowing Club in the Bark Station on the left-hand side of your screen, and Shiplake Vikings Rowing Club on the right-hand side of your screen.
Two really good crews here, Sarah. This should be a fantastic race. The last 2 years, this event has been won by Gloucester Rowing Club, so they're going for the hat-trick. And they're on the left-hand side of our picture as we look at it. And we've got Shiplake Vikings on the right-hand side. They've won at domestic regattas the last few months.
And the Gloucester Rowing Club, they're gold medalists at the National Schools Regatta in Championship Girls Coxless Fours. And this crew have actually switched to the quad for this event, so switching from the sweep discipline to sculling. And as you say, they're holders of this competition, winning it in 2014 and 15.
It's interesting, the Headington crew did the same thing. They sort of rose sweep and then swapped to sculling for this event. Headington waiting for the winners of this race in tomorrow's final. Shiplake did used to row at Henley Rowing Club, just at the other end of the course, moved to the next stretch of river up between Shiplake and Sonning. And they've had a really good week. In fact, the last few months of racing at domestic regattas, bar one, they had a real bad bit of luck at Henley Women's Regatta and broke their blade in the first heat. Unfortunately, that was the end of that regatta for them. So they want to show really well here today.
And we've been expecting it to unfold this way. Gloucester Rowing Club, they're so incredibly strong. As we said this morning in the first semi-final of this Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup, it is one of the hardest events to qualify for at Henley, and it is, I think, arguably one of the toughest events to win as well.
Only 16 crews are allowed in. Some events, the events at Henley Royal, there are 32 crews, but this event there's only 16. We should remember that the crews racing Wednesday through to Sunday, there are 629 entries, but the Friday before the event, 398, so it's actually 2/3 of those crews have to race for only 100 places, so a lot of crews don't even get to race it. So Gloucester looking like they're starting to take a significant lead here over Shiplake Vikings. Gloucester, very long, strong stroke, really in unison. In fact, you can hear it, you can listen to the strokes in the background, the noise. The tower they're putting down, how the blades all move together, they go in together.
And this is what it's about. Through this middle section of the race, we've said it before, it's about rhythm. We used to speak about having an unbreakable rhythm through the middle section, that anything can happen. You can get a wash, you can have a challenge from another crew, you could get a gust of breeze, but you're in a rhythm that just can't be broken. And just pumping those strokes out, just keep moving. And the Gloucester Rowing Club crew are doing this really, really well, I think. Just
gradually edging and drawing away, stroke for stroke, just small margins. But we shouldn't let that detract from Shiplake. They're not having it their own way. They're putting in a fighting too. They're taking an extra stroke a minute more than Gloucester, and they're doing their best to come back on terms.
There on screen we can see the Gloucester Rowing Club crew in the bow seat, Freya Webb, 2 seat Zoe Adamson, 3 seat Frances Russell, and the stroke seat Bryony Lawrence. They're 17 years of age, except Zoe, she's a year younger, she's 16. Average crew weight of 69 kilos, so they're a little heavier than the Shiplake crew, who are weighing about 62 kilos. That's Patty Orr, Ellie Thompson, Lauren Edwards, and Madeline Orr.
So we've got 2 oars in the boat. But they're rowing really well. They've raised their rate of sculling up to 35 strokes a minute, whereas Gloucester are currently at just over 32. So they're fighting back. They're doing their best to close this lead that Gloucester have down. You also hear a great view of, you've probably seen the umpires' launches following every race. There's one that does follow every race. There are these 50-foot launches, and they're beautiful hardwood coverings. And the umpire sits at the front. You have some guests there too. And you have the race commentary team at the back, standing at the back, relaying information on the event as we come down the course.
And we can see the synchronicity, this crew, their precision. I mean, it's going to be such an amazing race between Gloucester and Headington tomorrow.
Their blade work is just immaculate. You look at the Gloucester crew. People talk about how rowing's a team sport and how you have to be perfectly synchronised, and there, that is it shown in high definition.
And as we're heading down the course past Remenham Club, the Gloucester crew is leading this semi-final of the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup over the Shiplake Vikings Rowing Club.
That view we just saw is pretty much all of the second half of the course. Gloucester now coming past the Remenham Club. Then they get to an interesting part of the course. It gets very noisy past those particular rowing clubs. And there's about 200 metres where it's just towpath and there's trees and gardens and what have you. So there aren't many people there, so it goes quiet. But then it builds again to this crescendo as you go past the various enclosures of the regatta, which we see now in the background of the shot. The two white boxes on either side of the course are the mile posts, so Gloucester just approaching the mile point.
And there's a little bit of a head breeze at the moment, and so these crews would be looking to keep their timing and keep their sharpness through the front end. It's really important in a head breeze that you don't leave those blades, you know, hanging up in the air or getting blown around, but that you're really precise through the front, picking the water up on the way forward. So you want to place the blade forward towards the bow of the boat, picking the boat up on the run and trying to ensure that you don't check the boat or stop the boat at any point during the stroke. And I really like what Gloucester are doing with keeping that boat running and moving. They look so fluid, and I think that's why they look so good at this point in the race. These girls will be hurting. They'll be very tired at this point. The race is made even longer because of a bit of flow in the stream and also because of this stiff little head breeze that they're up against. So there's nothing easy about what they're doing right now, but they are making it look easy, and it's because of that smoothness and that rhythm and timing that they have.
And taking 32 strokes a minute, which they are doing, just makes that a bit easier. They've got a long, fluid stroke. They're not rushing things, they're not forcing things. Without a doubt now, the job's done as long as they don't think silly, and their thoughts are moving towards Headington tomorrow. So they'll need a little bit in the tank, but they want to keep this comfortable, so they won't let Shiplake come back to them too much. They'll keep them in their sights. Shiplake, a spirited fight in the last couple hundred metres. Those girls certainly aren't giving up.
As they're coming past the stewards' enclosure now, we can see them coming towards us. And the crowd cheering for this Gloucester crew, who have been a class act all the way down the course.
And even more so, you think of the quality of the Shiplake crew. Now, they won at the Metropolitan Regatta. They came third at National Schools event. They are a very good quad in their own right. But it just goes to show how good this Gloucester quad actually is. As they come past the grandstand, rightfully receiving the applause.
It's Frances Russell in the three-seat of this crew. She's a junior international, so a lot of strength and experience and talent on board this Gloucester crew. And we now have our final determined for tomorrow in the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup. It'll be the Headington School that we saw race first this morning. And joining them here is the Gloucester Rowing Club crew with a brilliant row to win that race of the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup over Shiplake Vikings Rowing Club crossing the line. And it's been a fantastic morning of racing.